Exactly how successful are Apple's AirPods? This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by Clear. Get to the front of the line faster, safer, touchless. Get 2 months of Clear free at clearme.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. This is part 3 in a 3-part conversation with the MacVoices Live panel about 3 different topics. We've pretty much done with the first 2. We still have a little bit to go on the question of whether Facebook might start trying to charge you for access to their platform. Then we go deep into a discussion of Apple's AirPods and their importance to Apple. So let's go and let the panel do the talking. I do want to go back there to something, David. 2 things David said. First of all, David, didn't mean to put you on the spot because I think Kelly said it well. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just a matter of what you are comfortable with, and as long as you're informed, I don't care whether you turn it on or off. It's just that I really want people to be informed because I feel like they aren't being informed. But your Clubhouse story. I want to throw my hands up and say, why? Why can't they? Why do all these companies seem to consistently engage in this highly questionable behavior, and then throw up their hands like they're innocent when they get caught? Just don't do it.
Right.
I mean,
that information is so valuable to them.
Well, Jeff, I know, but to me takes the circle the whole way around, that it's so valuable that they are willing to be caught and defend themselves. It's like, I'm not going to go to the store and steal a candy bar, but if I can go somewhere and steal $15 million, well, okay, maybe it might be worth the risk. That's not a great analogy, but it's the one that keeps coming up in my mind, that this information is more valuable to them than any of us realize.
No, it just couldn't believe it. Luckily, my coworker was okay with it. He actually tried it and deleted it immediately after about 10 minutes. So, just seeing that it was just nothing there for him. But it blew my mind. Why would you be allowed to do something like that? I mean, to send somebody something I didn't authorize you to do. I mean, if I authorized them, that's a whole other story, but I didn't. So it does have some merit to understanding what that is in something way I can expect that these companies should be allowed to do without our permission.
I don't know. I just, if you can give a piece of advice to the up and coming companies, just don't engage in these practices.
Right.
Don't get caught.
Don't base your business model on data mining other people. That's why I am comfortable handing Apple my data, because Apple doesn't make money off my data. They don't make money off my text messages. They don't make money off my iTunes purchase history. They make money off, I bought a phone, I bought a tablet, I bought a laptop, I bought a little thing, a stick to the back of all of those things so I can find all of them later. I bought a new keyboard. I bought a little strappy-doo for the little majigger you gave me to slap on the side of the whatever. Like, that's where Apple makes their money. And they make it, and then they give me a phone with a bunch of storage and they don't give me any room to back up. So now I pay them $2 a month for the rest of my life to make sure that I have enough space to back up that data. And I've been locked down for a year. And so, let's give you, a gym that you can hook up to the Apple TV so that you can get off the couch once in a while and stop binging stuff on Netflix. Okay. You made it to the end of Netflix. We have TV Plus and it's only $5 a month. Feel free, Apple's not making their money off of what I like and don't like. And that's, I think, the fundamental difference between the two of them. And when people talk about Facebook and Apple being in competition, Google and Apple being in competition, you need to give me some parameters you're talking about there, because those are fundamentally different business models. And the way that Apple makes money is not the way Facebook makes money. And it's mostly not the way Google makes money. And that's the thing that I think gets lost in a lot of these big tech sort of conversations. And when people talk about like Facebook being terrible and Facebook and Apple having a disagreement, like this is why they're having a disagreement, because there are people who don't have the app on their phone or tell it not to track. And then maybe they don't have a good experience and they delete the app on their phone and they don't spend as much time on Facebook anymore because all of a sudden they've made an informed decision and they realize like, this isn't what I wanted to be doing in the first place anyway. So.
Yeah, I think I would agree with most of that, and that is that Apple makes money in ways different than Facebook. Zuckerberg, scummy little. He's trying to make it sound like Apple and Facebook are in competition in order to advance his argument. But when in reality it's not. It's not a competition.
That's two, Mark. You curse one more time, we're going to have to change your parental guidance sticker.
Okay. So did you see the studies, at the end of last year that saying people who curse actually have above average intelligence?
I think it's the matter of degree.
Oh.
I curse all the live long day, just not on air.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't curse a lot.
There are a number of people here who can attest to this.
Okay, I don't curse
Ellie,
a lot.
you have never said a potty word ever.
Never.
Yes.
I mean, I've said Microsoft 4 times now, and I'm sure Chuck's got the bleeper
your sticker's
out.
in the mail.
That's why.
Jay, you got an E tag for this episode.
Yeah, that's so you'll notice Jay's conversation going along this dropout whenever but if you read his lips, it'll start with M. Yes. Gosh. Wait, guys.
What if we bleeped out Facebook? It'd be a very different sounding conversation.
It'd be mostly silence. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't.
No, that's why it'd be fun.
We're getting real punchy.
So we're way over our hour, of course, but Kelly brought a story and I just want to touch on it because I don't know how far we could take it, but Kelly, I'll let you talk a little bit about the AirPod story.
So this comes with the asterisk that this is from last year. Like this was an interesting statistic from May of 2020, not 2021. But the thing about it that I can't get over is it was a person who was speaking about market share for just AirPods. And that's the part of it that I thought was fascinating, was that it was just AirPods. And he built this nifty little chart to show what AirPods revenue was stacked up against all these other things. And so the highest earner on the chart is Tesla, which is up near 25 billion. And then Netflix up near 20 billion. And then Uber between 10 and 15. And then AirPods right in there, right behind Uber and ahead of Adobe, NVIDIA, AMD, Spotify, Square, Twitter, Snap, and Shopify. And the fact that just AirPods came in there. And first of all, that's not the only audio presentation device that Apple makes, right? There's AirPods and AirPods Pro. But that's not like they made at the time, last May, they still made full on HomePods. There was no mini yet. And they made things that hooked into a lot of other audio systems. And so the thing they were talking about was, I think it was like over 100 million AirPods have been sold since launch as of a year ago. I don't even know how many more that is now, as everybody sits home and has Zoom meetings and really just wants to cancel out, vacuuming and turn on air, noise cancellation and whatever. So there are so many opportunities here. Like the growth of AirPods is a thing that I don't think gets talked about a lot. And it sort of strikes me the way the Apple Watch does, in that nobody's talking about how that market continues to grow, which is the part I think, which is, like I said earlier, the thing about the watch that's the most interesting is that they are expanding the smartwatch market by having everybody buy one for the first time, even still. So to a lot of us, it seems like the Apple Watch is old news, but to a lot of people, like a whole lot more people, have never had one and just got it and, are still in that sort of new phase. So the phrase that pays from this article for me specifically was an operating system for AirPods. And the reason it strikes me is, what if it wasn't an operating system for AirPods, but an operating system for audio? And so the AirPods they have some sort of software in them. I mean, we know that there's an OS in your AirPods because there's something that tells it what to do when you double tap it, or if you have pros and you squeeze the stem and you switch modes, and when you tell the lady to do things, like there's software in that allows that to be processed and handed off to your phone to do the work and come back to you or whatever. So we know there's an operating system in there. And so an audio operating system was the thing about this that I just found really fascinating, sort of as a thought exercise to consider what, sort of what that looks like and how people continue to love AirPods. Like, it's still happening. And that's the part that I think, again, is not getting attention like it should. For example, you may notice I am wearing AirPods this evening. These are not AirPods. They are Pro. And the reason they are Pro is for two reasons. Number one, Apple didn't announce any new ones at the event last week, like I really wanted them to. Number two, my AirPods have become Mr. Kelly's new go-to, I have wall-to-wall meetings and need to be able to listen while no one else can hear me device. He tried all kinds of true wireless headphones in the meantime, couldn't find any he liked. I have a non-zero number of them myself that I loaned out to him over time. And he kept coming back going, these don't connect to my computer. The battery life on these sucks. These don't work if you only put in one. I can't get these to cooperate with each other. If I put them both in, they don't both connect, half the time, whatever. Had a bad experience with all of them. And then finally I went, okay, you've gone through all my headphones. Here's the ones I use. Take these, use them for a week. And he took them for a week. And his big complaint about them is, now I'm that guy in the meeting with the big white stems out of my ears. Like, look at me in my AirPods. And I'm like, okay, but how do they work? Like, is that the problem that you have with them? And he said, they connected to my Windows machine flawlessly. They give me the little chime when the battery is dying. And since he has an iPhone for work, so he has a lightning cable at his desk. So he's like, I plug the case in to charge them, and I can rotate, like when I have meetings all day long, I just put one in, put the other one in the case, and I can still hear if someone walks up behind me. And then when this one makes the noise, I take it out and I put the other one in and put the low one in the case. And then he can be in meetings all day long and it works. He can still hear if somebody needs his attention from something else, or if there's stuff going on around him, he can hear. And they work great. And so I had been looking to upgrade anyway and said, if you like them, you can keep them and I will buy new ones. And that's what happened. But like, I think part of what it is about them, and I feel like Apple kind of undersells this, is it just works. Like, that was the thing everybody told me about the AirPods in the first place, was it just works. It connects to your thing and then you can use them and they'll tell you when they're dead, and then you go recharge them and then you put them back in and they connect and it just works. And there's so much value in that, especially to people like us who have to fiddle with everything all the livelong day and see all the ways that stuff can fail and end up in the edge case, the little gap where everything goes wrong. Like a lot of us live there. And so to have something that's really boring and reliable like that is a really nice experience. And it's the kind of experience that Apple's been known for all this time. So I really want to know more about those numbers. And like, AirPods were growing over 100% year over year for like 3 years in a row. Like more than 100% revenue.
Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by Clear. Get to the front of the line faster, safer, and touchless. Clear is the answer to the question, how do I get through airports faster and easier? No one likes wasting time in lines, and with Clear, you don't have to. All you need is your face and your eyes to be identified and cleared. You get to the head of the line faster and without touching anything or having anything touch you. And it isn't just in airports. Stadiums, arenas, concert venues, and more are all using Clear to help you get through security and on to whatever is on the other side. Over 5 million people are already using Clear for that kind of seamless experience, and I'm one of them. Clear made it easier and faster to get through airport security before the lockdown, and they will be doing it again as we get back to travel. It's a service that I don't want to be without. Clear is the absolute best way to help you get back to what you love. They have locations in over 35 airports across the country, making it safer, easier, and faster to reunite with loved ones or take that much-needed vacation. It works great with PreCheck, too. And right now, for a limited time, you can get your first 2 months of Clear free. Go to clearme.com/MacVoices and use the code MacVoices. That's Clear, CLEARME.com/MacVoices and the code MacVoices for your first 2 months of Clear for free. clearme.com/MacVoices and the code MacVoices. Thanks to Clear for their support of MacVoices. Jeffrey, you were going to jump in?
Oh, sure. Yes. Kelly, Apple is using AirPods, I think, as a sleeper gateway product. Mm-hmm. Think about when Apple introduced AirPods. It was in 2016 at the same event where we got the Apple Watch. The AirPods introduction was barely more than by the way, we have wireless headphones. And then then we had the second generation AirPods and AirPods Pro, and both of those were press releases. Apple is not making a big fanfare out of this product, and yet by itself, it generates more revenue than Adobe.
If you believe those numbers, I mean that's a big if. But,
sure, but the point is they
certainly
sell
all their wearables and other devices are bigger than Adobe. I'm not sure if iPods are. But.
Okay, it doesn't matter if it's Adobe or whoever. The fact is that AirPods make a metric bucket load of money for Apple, and this is a product that Apple has put out there essentially silently.
Yes.
And this is a powerful gateway product, a sleeper product to get you into the rest of the Apple ecosystem. For example, Mr. Kelly is using AirPods with a Windows machine. How many other people out there are using AirPods with a Windows machine and then later on get another Apple product? Or they have an Android phone and they get AirPods because everyone else has them and they just work with your Android phone. And then the next time you need to get a new phone, all of a sudden it's an iPhone because you already have the AirPods.
Well, I think there's some truth to that, Jeff, with just about any Apple product. That the AirPods especially maybe, but I know more years than I will admit to ago, I talked a coworker into buying a MacBook, even though her husband really wanted to spend a whole lot less money and get a cheap Windows machine. And now, 3 kids later, and a number of a lot of years and 3 kids later, they're an all Apple family. Everything, iPhones, Macs, AirPods, Apple TV, the whole thing, because they got that one product that, and had what we can call the Apple experience, and just realized that, you get what you pay for. And if you go cheap, you get cheap. And if you go quality and pick the right company, you get a great experience.
So I would pick up on this that, all the points about the AirPods are well noted, but going back to AirTag, and do you think we can see similar things? I mean, especially the voraciousness by which the CEO of Tile is out there trash talking Apple. I mean, he must dirty his pants, his diapers at night when he thinks about trying to compete against Apple and the loyal fan base, and we know there's over 1 billion, 1.1, 1.2 billion iOS devices out there. Apple creates a hell of a lot of value with their AirTags because they have that installed device. And, I think I can see those things becoming very, very popular. They're on the same sort of path, it seems to me, as AirPod, scarce, hard to get. People will get them. People will try them. All the advanced nerds, and then it will ripple out. And 2 years later, they could be the hit gift for Christmas this year, and certainly in 2022, I expect there will be a lot of stocking stuffers. And the race will be on the MacVoices gift guide to see who can recommend recommend AirTags as a gift. So I think reflecting both Kelly and Jeff's point that yes, Apple comes out and they have these other devices that add value within the Apple ecosystem, and they just take off as monster businesses because of the scale of the Apple installed base.
I think with AirTags, though, it's not just Apple fans, it's the scale of AirTags can be tracked by 1 billion devices out of the gate. So, even if there's only one AirTag in the world, there's 1 billion devices out there to track it. And that's where Tile is, I think Tile's toast.
Oh, that sounds like a quotable. That should be a show title, Chuck.
Well, I just looked really quick on the Apple website, and if you want one AirTag, you can get it between May 10th and 14th. And if you want the 4-pack, it's June 10th to June 17th.
Yes, I heard that on Ken Ray's
from the website
this morning.
So
yeah, it sounds like individual AirTags are available, but I mean, again, I think that shows the power of Apple as a business. That they have a large set of loyal customers, and they come out with products that they're not stupid, silly things, but they touch real needs that their users have, and hence there's a popular demand. And can you imagine, when is it going to be the July earnings call where we hear Luca or Tim say, "Oh, AirPods were an amazing success. We had a supply demand imbalance, and we had exited the quarter with way more demand than we had supply," and then replay that in October when they talk about the September quarter. I really think this is a genius. And to Kelly's earlier point, quoting that other article, I think this is the part about Apple that I don't think a lot of the financial analysts really appreciate is, they have this power. They introduce something just as an, oh, by the way, thought at a developers conference, and 3 years later, it's a monster business, bigger than Adobe, if you like those numbers, but it's certainly bigger than Spotify and a lot of these other little ankle biters that are causing Apple problem in the press.
Yeah. So I think it's time to wrap up, but there's one thing I got to bring up about AirPods, and it's not about AirPods. It's about the folks that are selling the cases for them. Right now, you can buy a single AirPod. You can buy a pack of 4. Why are these
AirTags?
You mean AirTags?
AirTags. Thank you. AirTags. Sorry. Why are there people out on Amazon selling a pack of 3 tags or 5 tags?
There's cheats, and Amazon has a problem with cheats and thieves and crooks.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at this and I think, okay, I'm not going to buy the 3-pack because that leaves one lonely AirPod. I'm not going to buy a pack of 5 because then I have one that I have nothing to do with. So either sell them in 1s, 2s, or 4s. But what? I mean, that just bugs me, and I don't understand what the thinking is.
Well, they may not
Chuck,
have known how Apple
crooks are smart. Are you thinking crooks and thieves are smart?
What does this got to do with crooks, Mark?
This has nothing to do with crooks.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, marketed to. Oh well.
Chuck, I suspect that the reason is probably because Apple didn't disclose to these people that they were going to be selling them in 4-packs. So they didn't know in advance. Apple said, here's what the dimensions are, and you can make these, but they didn't tell them in advance what that they'd be packed in 4, so they didn't know that. So you notice that there were if you looked on Amazon within an hour of the event, there was dozens of these devices on Amazon. So obviously these were sitting there waiting, ready to go. And I think the answer to your question is just they didn't know how Apple was going to, be bundling them in quantity. So they had to make up the numbers.
Cletus in the chat room has the answer. He says hot dogs versus hot dog rolls.
Oh,
yeah.
That explains so much. Seriously.
Yep. Right there. Yep. Thank you, Cletus. Good job.
Well done,
folks. This has been fun. Let's go around the table. What folks, the folks out there know where they can find you, and then we will go do whatever we do after the show closes down. But I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to go from the bottom up this time. Mr. Mark Fuccio goes first. Mark?
Twitter at Mark Fuccio, MarkFuccio, all lowercase, all one word.
Thank you for being here, Mark. Good to see you. Brittany, is that, explain your getup, please.
I'm wearing my Jedi robes.
Is that it? Okay. I wasn't sure.
I mean, duh.
Well, now it looks like it. But just with across the shoulders, I wasn't sure. So,
do you know what day it is?
I thought that was a Cylon costume.
I didn't get that either. Well, yeah, now, but you just had the top part, so just I thought it was just this is your meeting.
If you couldn't
attire.
tell that this was a Jedi robe just from the shoulders, what kind of Star Wars fan or human are you really?
Well said, Jeff. Well
Speaks
said.
for itself.
Non-fan. Non-fan.
Where can we find you, Brittany?
On Twitter, I do my nerdy stuff as ADD Liberator. And my website is conquer.consulting, where I also have a link to a brand new ADHD Guild section if anyone in your life is looking for ADHD support. And that's all.
Great. Thanks for being here. And Kelly, who wears her fandom right out in the open.
That's secret. You can find me 5 days a week hosting the Daily Observations podcast over at macobserver.com. You can find me hosting I Want My MCU TV over at the Incomparable Network, where we talk about the new Marvel show, whatever it might be. You can find me occasionally doing other things over at the Incomparable, talking about other sorts of stuff. We just did an episode, sort of a spinoff of the other one, about the Falcon and the Winter Snowman. You can also find me on Twitter. You can find me on a recent episode of Jay's Productivity and Tech podcast. I just did an episode of Let's Talk Apple with Bart Buchatz that I think came out yesterday. And I do the after show with Mike Rose over at aftershowpodcast.com. And if you still haven't heard enough of me at that point, you can find me as Verso on Twitter.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. And thanks for bringing the AirPod story. It was a good one to wrap up with. Mr. Ray, you and I apparently are not the droids they were looking for.
Nicely done, Chuck.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'll be here all the original movie like 11 times in the theater.
Okay.
There you go.
But
it's okay.
Yeah, I guess I haven't kept up with it.
It's all
right. Where can we find you, Jim?
Oh, let's see. My day job is ProView Development. I do Mac software, so you can find me there. And on Twitter, ProView Jim on Twitter.
Right. Thanks for being here. Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, where can we find you?
Who? My dad is Mr. Miller. I'm Jay.
Okay, Jay. I say the same thing when people call me Mr. Joyner, so I'm with you. Yeah.
My dad's not even Mr. Miller. So anyway, you can find me at that purple iPhone fan club fan.com. Seriously, purple iPhone fan club.com is available on Hover. It might be gone by the end of this conversation. But also, you can find me on YouTube and all the other things that I do, kjymiller.com. I just put out a good YouTube video about putting out or using whatever tools available to you and you grab first, which in my case is often my MacBook. Y'all thought I was going to say something Microsoft related, didn't you?
Thanks for being here, Jay.
That's the E-tag.
But I think you just gave me an idea for a show that we're all going to have to do a true confession of how many domains we have registered at Hover.
Too many.
Or what about other places? Just
other places too. But that seems to be the go-to in a lot of cases.
Hover.
Yeah, David, thanks for being here. Where can folks find you?
Thanks for having me. You can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. A return appearance of Mr. Jeff Gamet this week. And you can find me on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. You find me on Mac to the Future Go livecast on Facebook with Guy. And you can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Thank you for having me, as always.
Can I set my phone to only get ads for David's shows on Facebook?
Yeah, I believe there is a setting just for that.
They'll still track everything else, though.
Oh,
yeah. My son's not that sophisticated.
Yeah, or Jay, just talk to Brittany. I'm sure she can develop a shortcut for you that'll do that. No problem.
Yeah.
Jeff, you're going to be returning to David's show. Where are you returning from?
Toshi Station, where I was picking up power converters.
What?
And yes, I was on David's, and I did forget to say that. But I said it last week. Sorry.
So anyhow, when I'm not at Toshi Station, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Jay Gamet, both places. Also now on YouTube, youtube.com/JGamet. I've been cranking out some videos, which awesome. I think is why I am back on In Touch with iOS this week. And then you can also find me on AirTag time. Let's see, here on Tuesdays. I have been hosting the Big Show and the Mac Show for Ewan Rankin the past few weeks because he is a busy man. So you can find me there as well. And I feel like I'm forgetting shows that I've been on recently. Google me. You can find me. I'm everywhere.
Got it. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for being here. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This has been MacVoices Live. Again, we do this Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We would love to have you join us, like we had so many great people in the chat room tonight, throwing comments at us and commenting on what we were saying and probably doing a better job of analyzing a few things than we were. So come and join them. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.